Oh. Oh. Pathetic, Tom. Get better. Didn't have that song queued up correctly.
Sorry?
So we have something happening here today. Let me just tell you. Alice feels terrible. She's got a crappy cold that just walloped her now, and so
You don't have to dwell on that.
well, I'm getting somewhere with this.
Okay.
It just so happens to coincide with the day that 4 days out of 365, I feel exceptionally good. To me, today's one of them. Feel great, and I was underslept and I couldn't get back to sleep. And so, let's start. First of all, it's nice seeing everybody up in Maine yesterday. Arundel, or I guess Arundel's where elves are. But so Arundel, Maine, at what's the bar called? Do you remember? Bentley's. Maybe top 5 bars I've ever been to. Maybe the number one. What a place. And it's not just because the blonde bartenders had 9/10 of their breasts aiming at me as I ordered. It's a great place with great people. We brought Peter the Rabbit there. We saw some friends of ours. Alice, I'm thrilled. Even though we were only there for 18 minutes before everybody had to leave to go to the KMS thing, which we would have gone to. The logistics couldn't work it. I just wanted you to meet a couple people there. So you met Harmon, Be a Man guy, and Ted Sellers. You saw Tim Ridgels.
Mm-hmm.
Are you up? Are you on? You're on, right?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay, and we saw a few other folks, including another guy who listens who likes you and wants me dead. Biodude. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's pretty much. Oh no, Mama K. We saw.
Mama K was there.
And everybody's name. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm idiot. So.
And Kevin from Bristol.
Oh my goodness, that's a huge one. I've wanted to meet him forever. Actually, I've wanted to meet him. Very talented, brilliant guy. He's a brilliant guy. Yeah, I wish we could have spent more time, but whatever. We got the initial interview out of the way. We'll spend more time later. So, guys, thank you. And what a hell of a bar. What a hell of a bar. I gotta say, man, that bar, which is Bentley's in Maine, is it. If that bar were in Massachusetts, it would be under 183,000 violations. There's just way too much freedom happening in that place. And the band was great. The drinks were great. We didn't have any food. We should have probably, maybe next time.
Mm-hmm.
And they were great. It's a biker bar, and the people are. I've never been to a biker bar. I get the feeling there were more than a handful of Trump voters there. And I get the feeling also, you know what else? There are a lot of the guys there. Certainly are Trump voters, but not because they're on motorcycles, but because they own small businesses. I feel a lot of guys in small business there who work in office parks where there's machines that do things, etc., who probably have Trump boat yachts or just boats anyway. So I love everything about the fact that the government, that's Maine too. Maine's not America either. So they seem to forge a little nook of freedom in this little place there, and just awesome. I would recommend it. I didn't know it existed, and so that's from.
Yeah, it was really fun being there and seeing everyone, and I wish we could have stayed more and gone to the show. We just were rushing this. We squeezed that in between a softball game and other stuff, and just to pop by and say hi to people because we could.
Yeah. And also, yes, Harmon got recognized by maybe 12 different people while I was there for 18 minutes with him. But I did get mine too last weekend. So I'm not completely shut out. Completely. You remember my two last weekend?
Yeah.
Recognized. Me in the street, Alice. Famous. It is probably not something that actual famous people have to do to try to beat it into their kids' heads.
Oh, I thought of the topic.
Oh,
you just reminded
let's
me.
Do it.
This is why you reminded me
see?
Because
you remind me.
Because the topic that I was trying to think of that I was saying this is we really should talk about this is the singer Chappell Roan.
Yes.
That our daughter likes, and her songs are all over Instagram stories and TikToks and whatever.
HOTT.
OGO, you can take me hard to go.
Right.
That song, and she has a bunch of other songs, Chappell Roan. And She's been complaining recently. She sort of blew up recently, like this year, and became huge. And like, she's not pleased with it. She's upset about it and has taken to complaining about it. And it struck me, it's like funny to me because she's the opposite of you being like so excited that people recognize you. Like, you would spend all day if people were stopping you all day nonstop in the street, like you would spend all day talking to them.
Yes. If somebody, we stayed.
You would miss a flight if somebody stopped you at the airport.
I missed a flight to get my replacement heart. Absolutely. Somebody stopped me at the airport.
To
yes,
talk to you and get in. If somebody asked for your autograph.
Oh my God. Not only that, but I would linger in that spot even after they left, just in case.
So she's had a few incidents recently. So she was just kind of like in the Midwest. She also, I'm kind of like already ready to be annoyed by her because her like stage persona is almost like a drag kind of persona. Like she's dressed kind of like drag queenish. She's a girl, to be clear. But
I mean, it's funny when you want to get into like pop music as a young woman. There's several freaking cliches that you can go to. And I've been watching this now. It's probably really since the 50s or 60s, but for me, it's the 80s, 90s. And one is the girl who purposefully makes herself uglier and more hideous than she really is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a girl who's just a complete slut. There's a girl who tries to be the cutesy girl next door,
Yeah.
or the badass, or the one who's like effete. Or there's now there's a whole university full of Taylor Swifts.
Well, yeah, and so I guess, and she's a lesbian, I guess. So I guess she's sort of going down the Gaga road of being like kind of an LGBTQ icon thing happening, I guess, sort of. I don't know. That's fine, whatever. But she's already like sort of going down a road that I'm not a huge fan of, just culturally. And she's like got mental illness. She's diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and she gets anxiety and she gets depressed and all this stuff. So she recently had an incident on the red carpet. A photographer apparently said something like, "Shut the F up." And she said, "No, you shut the F up," and started yelling at the photographer. It's unclear if the photographer was actually talking to her to start with or not, or if it was just something they were saying. And she said, like, "It's not okay for people to talk to me this way." And like, I'm going to, and a bunch of like other stars were like, "Yeah. And, good for her for clapping back," and like stuff like that. Like Noah Khan, whatever. The Vermont guy is all for it and whatever, standing up. And she said, like, for someone who gets anxiety, the red carpet is such a terrifying place and it's so horrible. And she's also complained about like fans following her and stuff.
Ugh.
And she just recently had this whole interview where she complained that being famous is like abusive. And that all these fans have a terrible relationship with her, because I guess some male fans followed her into an airport and bothered her because she wouldn't stay and sign stuff for them.
Right. Okay, so let me get to this.
Yeah.
I've got a heavy history with this because back when I was alive inside in the 90s, when grunge came in. First of all, grunge dethroned heavy metal.
Mm-hmm.
And heavy metal was like Motley Crue, AC/DC, Rat, all those guys, Poison, whatever. There's 1,000 of those.
Mm-hmm.
It was generally rubbish music, which now I look back on and is extremely healthy music, where generally the guy was trying to get laid a lot, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Celebrating chicks as women and objectifying them, absolutely. And although the guys were a bit hair femme, but fine. Then grunge came in, and grunge was different because it had a conscience, man. So
right, it wasn't all show. This is a
show.
real guy.
They eschewed show. Like sometimes, like Kurt Cobain would talk about how he'd like to have his guitar be totally out of tune because F that. Which, of course, is a horrific thing. But, like, just totally burning emotional dudes. And it was just like they were acting like this, and they borrowed all of these attitudes from different people over time. And Cobain would be a dick to the press etc. And like, I'm not. You expect me to answer that question? I'm not talking to you. I'm not like whatever. It's not selling out. Man, it's like it's all ideology, all passion, and like no being like for him to do that act makes him be a dick in front of everybody to everybody. Okay,
Right.
like it's like see he can't put himself into anybody else's shoes, like the reporter who's got to write stuff and go deadline and needs to do stuff. It's all about him. Reminds me of one time the guys, and I think the band was the Cuban band, whatever it was, pulled into my hotel in the bus, and it was like in the afternoon. I was already at the front desk, and every time a customer came to the front desk, I always in my mind considered just putting a 9mm in my mouth and blowing my head off, depending if who the person was. This guy came in. He's like, "Yeah, we're with the whatever T.O.'s band, whatever." And I said, "Oh, okay. I see. So our check-in time is like 3. So your rooms aren't quite ready." And he said, "What?" And I said, "Yo, your rooms aren't quite ready." I'm like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
I could see. And he goes, "Have you ever been on a tour bus for 18 hours and trying to sleep, moving 6 states, and then trying to go somewhere to sleep?" And my feeling then was like, "No, you mother. Have you ever had to freaking toil giving out room keys to people for a living?
Yeah.
I would kill to be on a tour bus."
Well, yeah, and it reminds me of something like on the opposite end of the spectrum. Taylor Swift has kind of famously said, like, she never wants to be that person who seems ungrateful to be famous because you fight so hard to get there, and so many people would like to be where you are, that it's like really not great to whine about it once you're famous. And I feel like it's so tacky to be like, "Oh, being famous is abusive."
Oh, yeah,
like,
so tacky,
okay,
but
so go back to working at McDonald's.
So
no
they
one
were
is
entire. This was
stopping
such
you.
a theme in the '90s. I remember seeing this big thing of Eddie Vedder. It was a big interview with who was the guy in Black Flag? Henry Rollins. You don't know him. You know Henry Rollins?
Mm-mm.
No. Henry Rollins, kind of a spoken word slam poetry kind of rock guy. He gave this entire big long interview. I used to actually subscribe to and read Rolling Stone and believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wow, Henry Rollins is like this guy people go to for sage advice. And reading about Eddie Vedder called him one time and said, "How do I handle it? How do I handle all this? People are putting me on the pedestal, treating me like some deity. How do I handle it, Henry?" And Henry gave him sage advice on how to take it and this and that. What the freak is going through your mind if you're like, it's like, "Oh man, it's all on me. The pressures of the world are on."
Well,
Freak
yeah,
you. And also that's one of the reasons.
Another
and I
thing Chapel Roan said is she's like, "Oh, thank you so much to all the famous people who reached out to me and checked to make sure I was okay when I blew up and became famous."
Yeah, and
it's tough being on the red carpet for people
and they've
with
all
anxiety.
Done it. Like John Lennon used to hate when they would bring people, like disabled people, all like 50 of them, whatever, to meet him in the Beatles, and like it's like, what are we? This is uncomfortable. I don't know how to act. So some of it's understandable, but you've jumped into the pool of wanting to be famous, and so all of these things are why you have all the cars and all everything else.
Right, you bought the ticket, ride the ride.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know what to tell people.
And that was like the bitching and moaning. Some of the people were happy to, like Bush, which was just a fake band after Nirvana. They were thrilled to be famous. Spice Girls were manufactured, so they were fine. They all waited in line to try out for parts with thousands of other people to be famous. Mm-hmm. But like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and I hate Oasis. I've always hated them. Those two have been on my actual death list. And I've had a death list for 30 years, and I've wanted to die. Only so far, Corey Haim is the only one who's actually come out. Feldman is on the death list, obviously. But the only cool thing about Oasis was they used to talk all the time. The older one, the songwriting one with the guitar, would say, if they don't want to be famous, come give me all the fame. We want to be famous. We want Beatlemania. We want all of this stuff. I want all the fame. I want all the pressure. I want all the drugs. I want all the women. I want every. It's like that's a better way to put it. And this is good, Alice, because you would have found in 1997 a 24-year-old Tom Shattuck still alive inside, though for not much longer. And I remember watching the MTV Awards, and Fiona Apple, who, by the way, I checked into my hotel when I was working at the hotel this same year. Do you know her at all, Fiona Apple? Have you ever heard of her?
I've heard the name, but I don't really know what she is.
Yes, Cyril, go ahead. She was a pop star. She was right along on the trails of Jewel and Alanis Morissette. She was kind of like... anyway, She actually does an incredibly good version of Across the Universe by the Beatles. Um, but she was at the MTV Awards. She got her award, and she had this revelation that she assumed was the first time anybody had had this, and she was letting us all inside. She was giving us all the skinny on this. Listen to this.
Oh, man.
She won an award.
I didn't prepare a speech, and I'm sorry, but I'm glad that I didn't, because I'm not going to do this like everybody else does it. Because everybody that I should be thanking, I'm really sorry, but I have to use this time. See, Maya Angelou said that we as human beings, at our best, can only create opportunities. And I'm going to use this opportunity the way that I want to use it. So what I want to say is, everybody out there that's watching, everybody that's watching this world is bull. And you shouldn't model your life. Wait a second. You shouldn't model your life about what you think that we think is cool and what we're wearing and what we're saying and everything. Go with yourself. Go with yourself. And there's just a few people that I want to say something to. I want to say, Mama, I love you. I'm so glad that we're becoming friends. Amber, I love you. You're my sister. You're my best friend. Andrew Slater, no one else could have produced this album and no one else did. And it's just stupid that I'm in this world, but you're all very cool to me, so thank you very much. And I'm sorry for all the people that I didn't thank, but man, it's good. Bye.
Okay, it's 30 years later, I changed my opinion. Back then, my feeling was, because I'd only seen it once when it happened live, was that she was saying all this is bullshit, all these trappings, which she kind of did say.
Yeah.
But then again, she gave props to people who were cool. I mean, people who she meant. She is right, but you also know, of course, it's all BS. Like, what do you think the presidential campaigns are also BS? It's all contrived. Nothing they say, and people are saying, we need to fact check. Well, no. This is all the Matrix. Everything he's saying is BS. For the most part, everything she's saying is BS.
Right.
Absolutely. And everything the fact checker is saying is also BS. It's somebody think that this isn't. Yeah, obviously the stage and all the stage stuff that all the Teamsters moved in all week is to paint a picture.
Yeah.
You're supposed to know this stuff. Yes, it is BS.
It's all pretend. Yes. And you know, she's also right in the sense that like that world of celebrity is full of like really bad people.
Well, isn't that prescient?
Yeah. So, and you know, I bring this up obviously because of the Diddy stuff. Sean Combs in prison. And a bunch of celebrities are deleting their Twitter feeds, like all their old tweets.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting. And like, I don't really know what to make of that. I mean, I don't know that. I tend to be skeptical that our government is ever really going to take down like the true Hollywood elites and really have accountability for some of these really awful people, you know? But the fact that there's all these people deleting stuff is fascinating to me. And a lot of them are the really bad ones. Like, I mean, Pink, who I actually like some of Pink's music, kind of. I don't have.
Why do you call her bad? She's just a big progressive, you mean?
Yeah, because she's handing out the quote banned books at her concerts and stuff. Like, we're gonna have freedom. I'm gonna give out the banned books that they don't want you to read. Like, no one cares if you want to give your kids porn, Pink. Like, just keep it away from my kids. But, like, shocker, obviously, the same people who think giving out, like, queer porn to children is awesome and great, you know, are deleting their Twitter feeds compared to... And, like, Megan Fox, who's trans to, like, all her kids.
That's exactly right. Yeah, she's in the list, right?
She's deleted her Twitter feed, like a bunch of these people. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. Like, I tend to think of it like the Epstein stuff. Like, do any of these people ever get really held to account?
I think Epstein had more juice. Epstein had
But, like, any of his client list, are any of them going to be held
isn't
to
it
account?
amazing how,
like nobody's in trouble.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? It's like, yeah, you know everything about what happened in Trump Tower. You don't know anything about the Epstein. Like, how is that possible that we don't know all the stuff that happened and all the names that did the stuff?
Right. No, we don't know. And, you know, we watched together that documentary, the one about the abuse in Hollywood, that stuff, which was fascinating. huge problems. It's especially like the Nickelodeon stuff. There's still so much there that has yet to come out. Like Amanda Bynes was ruined as a child. A lot of people have been talking about Justin Bieber and how he was abused by Diddy and like those people and didn't want to be around it anymore. And like I don't know. It seems absurdly widespread amongst celebrity culture.
Yeah. Absurdly widespread, and also like so is Diddy gay? Is that what we're saying here? Or a pedophile, or both? Or because I hate to say it, but like I do believe in what Andrew Dice Clay says about being gay. I mean, if you Lewinsky or you do not Lewinsky.
There's no such thing as bi, essentially.
For a guy, no. Women do unspeakable things all the time. So yes, but I mean, so that's the thing. So okay, let me say something else. So they would have all these sex parties where.
But he's in trouble for a bunch of various things, like sexual trafficking, drugs, like all sorts of stuff. Yeah, probably all the ingredients to make an awesome party. I assume that's how that works. But it is interesting. Imagine it is this widespread. I mean, do theater kids just really like pedophiles? Is that what I'm saying is former theater kids? Was that what this is? I mean, do you think it's just the former theater kids, or do you think? I mean, I don't think it's limited to the entertainment industry, although certainly it's prevalent there. But I think it's anywhere where there's a lot of power and celebrity and wealth, which tend to come together. But I think it's big in like hotshot finance circles. I think it's big in hotshot politics circles. Right. I think it's big in the hotshot entertainment industry circles. And like, I think these people think that they're invincible because they're surrounded by people who always say yes to them and think they're the best thing on the earth. They surround themselves with people who think they walk on water and can do no wrong, and they surround themselves with all these trappings of wealth. They think rules don't apply to them anymore, including rules that we have around like the sexual safety of children.
Yeah.
You know, they think that they're beyond these mundane human rules because they can obtain whatever they want whenever they want it, and people always tell them yes and always tell them that they're great. They never think it means them. Like, you know, the meme, the like DW from Arthur meme, like that sign won't stop me because I can't breathe. Like, they think that they're, or the Garfield one where he says, I wonder who that's for. It's like they don't think rules mean them. Right.
It's got to be totally symbiotic, obviously, because if you're in his group, well, then you're also benefiting.
Right.
And you're the sounding board, and of course the sounding board is going to be good stuff. Generally. I mean, I think about that, and think about a guy, if you hit your... It also has to do with principles and values and family. And like, are you the kind of guy who can put the brakes on and all? And like rap culture is not to put the brakes on. And you're right, finance bro culture is not to put the brakes on. Although finance bro culture, generally, I do think when you're dealing with a lot of gunplay that you've also made another moral leap. But yeah, I mean, I definitely see, and there's a kind of guy.
But so they're saying the indictment includes sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. And it's under racketeering labels. But I mean, you think about it, it's so interesting because he's been famous a really long time. Yeah. He is not new to, he's in his 50s. So he's like approximately your age, say. But can you imagine being, like, he's been famous, since the early 90s?
Yeah.
Like, he's spent essentially his entire adult life getting whatever he wants. All the drugs, all the money, all the girls or boys or whatever he's into. Nobody says no to him. He has all the things in the world, and like now he's being held without bail. It's kind of stunning. And like you wonder who else is going to be implicated in this because it is a racketeering thing, and for now it mostly seems to be his like people that work for him,
His boys,
employees, associates, household staff, personal assistants, high ranking supervisors. But like it's fascinating because it is so. I mean, the phrase "fall from grace" is overused, but it's crazy that somebody like that's amassed that much wealth and power would go down for that.
Well, yes, it is. And it's also very interesting because this would be a time where the people who would be implicated in this are very much the people who have spent their entire careers holding awards and scolding America. Telling you how you need to be better when it comes to your decision making. So we're telling you that you need to be better, and see me in the sequin dress. You need to be more like I am. And I'm obviously here, so I'm better into doing noble things with life. Because I cried about the role I played because I was raised by a white mother and a black father, but I'm only going to credit the black father for raising me, even though my white, it's like this would be hitting the hypocrisy zone right in the Death Star's HVAC vent. It's like, it's amazing. And I have to say another thing. Put aside the sex trafficking and illegality and immorality and hurt feelings and pain, etc.
Yep.
I effing love this. I love the idea of all these people crashing down. There is no doubt that a big part of that is that I am jealous of their lives. Absolutely. Not that Diddy has been recognized twice in Newburyport, which he has not. I don't think there would be a song about it, had he?
Yep.
But I'm sorry. I just really love. I mean, these people are vile people. I'm sorry, they are. And here's another thing: rap sucks. So I'm sorry. I hate to tell you, it's generally something that's not great. I'm not gonna miss it if it goes away. There are a couple of good rappers who'd like do. The only rap that's good I found is the rap that's seemingly not really stupid. That's it. Because I appreciate...
Like, what's an example?
I think Eminem could be and I picked the white one, of course. Eminem could be a stand-up comedian just as easy as he could be a rapper.
But you probably like some kind of poppy hip-hop. Like, you probably like some Kanye West stuff.
Yeah. I
like the Gold Digger song.
I think it's a great song. There's a couple other things he does that I think is great, but he's more of a song guy than a rap guy in my mind.
Well, and a lot of times they're sampling other music into the hip-hop that's doing lot of the heavy lifting.
Sure. Yeah, no, and there's like in the compositions together, like that the T.I. Live Your Life song, I think is lovely. It's really Rihanna. I should get the credit for it because the T.I. stuff is useless. And I guess I liked Biz Markie. Do you know who Biz Markie is?
I don't know who that is.
Oh baby, you got what I need, but you say he's just a friend.
Yeah, I do know that. Yes.
That's going back to like '88, whatever. I liked. Nobody care what I like for rap. I liked Bust a Move. Who's that? Young MC.
Busta Rhymes?
No, Young MC. Bust a Move. I like some of those guys. Some of them I think are pretty good, but that's fine. But for generally the genre blows. It does. Just like we talked about Henry Rollins. Slam poetry sucks. It all sucks. Every bit of it, from A to Z, sucks. There's no such thing as being a good slam poetry guy. There's no such thing. Or girl. It sucks. Even modern day poets generally suck. So, all right, where are we going to next, Elby?
So that was a lot. I guess.
Oh, I want to go right to Olivia Nuzzi. And Olivia Nuzzi, the 31-year-old reporter.
More people you don't like. Let's talk more.
I've hated her for years. I think that I saw her to be a dishonorable person. I saw her to be unethical, dishonorable, and a disgraceful person years ago. Years ago, just her recounting being invited to Trump's White House and mocking everything about the invite and the way people were dressed and the way people talked.
Yeah.
And she would do it everywhere. She was obviously like this little rich girl who that people thought that. I don't know that she's a good reporter. I think she's got no moral compass. With trying to sneak into Corey Lewandowski's house, also, and getting busted, also dishonorable.
Yeah. Although I saw one
craven
female writer
POS.
saying that about the Corey Lewandowski thing, saying that, like, oh, if a man did this, people would be calling it, like, Hunter S. Thompson balls out gonzo journalism, that she, like, broke into Corey Lewandowski's house and was looking through his stuff.
Well, because one, Hunter would have done it successfully, would have found stuff, and would have gotten written about. Two, I think he's a dickhead too. And also, no, it's the way she reacts when she gets busted. She has this dishonorable, inglorious, small and ugly way of being caught, like a kid who's just pathetically caught. Mm-hmm. It's horrible. It's like one time, Alice, year of our Lord, 1999. Mm-hmm. I had this bad habit of going out with the boys and being the first one who just like go home. I'd just be like either too drunk or whatever, or just like I was just. So I'd bail. So I was known as being somebody who bailed. So we all went out. We all went to my apartment in Beacon Hill, and then walked towards the pub we were going to head to. Me and Danny McKenna and Mike Giannino and all of our friends back then, like 12 of us, or whatever, and. For some reason in my mind, I just decided to bail. I was feeling like, I don't know, I was an idiot. But I don't know. So I decided to bail, and I waited for the guys to move down the corner, and there was a wall behind next to me, and I crawled down this alley, and out in front of me stepped Dan McKenna, watching me crawl away. And it was so inglorious, and so wretched and pathetic. And I remember Dan shaking his head, just looking at me like, you wretched bastard. And it was. Really, had we been in a proper civilization, the guy should have given me a light beating, but they just dragged me to the pub. But it's that kind of thing. She looks so inglorious and I don't know, pathetic. And it's like, to me, you know what it does for me, Alice? What she did? It gives me the guy ick thing.
Yeah, we haven't even got to what she's in the news for now.
So now she's in the news for, but she's been inglorious and a spoiled little rich girl. She was involved in the Anthony Weiner stuff too. And I hate the fact that she's on these podcasts with people I respect and they all kiss her ass because she's like pretty.
People love her.
She looks a little like Stonehenge to me. I'm not really getting it. But so
she looks a little like Stonehenge.
So here's the thing. So she's been having an affair with RFK Jr. Now, so according to her,
she's covering him, by the way, talking about how he should have been in the debates with everybody else as a reporter, quote unquote. She's sleeping with him, sending him nude photos, etc., etc.
Right. So she claims it was just a romantic. She claims it was just a what's it called? Affair. Just a. The one that's non-physical,
like a sexting affair.
No, it's another name.
Emotional
affair. Her fiance. This is a high-profile thing, so she's a piece of for blowing this guy up and acting like in front of her fiance, who's a big wig for the Washington Post. He should have known by her personality traits that she's capable of doing this because she's. He's now destroyed. He then puts out this beautiful announcement on Twitter saying, "My editors and whatever have told me not to." Write anything about Kennedy because of his relationship with my ex-fiance, which is a way to stick it to her. So he's called her up.
So he can point out that they are no longer engaged.
Exactly.
Because as of the time of the breaking of this news, everything public still said they were engaged.
Right. So I don't mind. He's just a guy in a POS, but I think she's a horrible person, and I hope her career is destroyed. I think that she's always been a terrible person. It's nice to see it crumble. Hey, look out, man! When you find girls in the Ascension, I think that she's a to
and
not
of
be
course,
able
Cheryl Hines had to deal with it publicly breaking too.
Cheryl Hines has had enough, considering her circle of friends having to deal with enough. And so basically, this guy. But how did it come to light? By the way,
Well, I'm not sure how like they found out, but her job essentially, I think, what is it, New York Magazine or whoever
It
said.
must have been. I bet you it was. I bet you he found her like Signal messages or Telegram messages or something like one of the affair app messages, and went nuts out and just blew her up. That's got to be the way to do. And by the way, if I were him, continue to do things to destroy her career. Absolutely, give it the full. That is ridiculous what she did. She's a POS. Cheryl Hines doesn't deserve this thing. This fucking trollop pulling this crap. But
Of course, do we not think that RFK Jr. also bears some responsibility here since he drove his last wife to suicide by sleeping with so many people outside of his marriage?
I think RFK Jr. or any man who is extremely vain is looking to have as many women in bed as possible. And that is not going to end. That is not going to end. So, I'm not... I mean, if a guy has 72-year-old guy doing push-ups who's roided out with, like, a cut body, who's good-looking like that, he's banging. Of course, that's why he's doing it. There's no other reason. Like, even the same thing, like, with Joe Biden, like, getting all his work
How do you
done.
think the other Kennedys would have, like, held up in the Me Too era if they didn't get, like, sainted because they got shot?
It's funny you say that because like the ones who are good guys like RFK3 or RPK3, JPK3.
Yeah.
Who's it?
Joseph Patrick Kennedy III. Yeah.
JPK3.
Mm-hmm.
The decent ones aren't great at politics.
Yeah, but don't you think there is something to this? And like we talked about this because we were talking about someone who's like a huge fan of Bill Clinton and is also has some of the like same charisma and entitlement issues that Bill Clinton has. Do you remember this conversation? We were saying like I think it's a lot of the same skill set, like that ability to get people to like you is like some kind of psychopathic charisma that certain people have where I mean like they seem to go together. I mean, talk about it's a slightly different skill set than the people who, you know, succeed in the entertainment industry that we're talking about, where people get so entitled because they're just so used to having so much influence and power. But in politics, you also see people who are just like savants for this type of getting people to like you, and they use it on women quite a bit. A lot of them,
absolutely
too.
Alice,
so like the Clintons and the Kennedys and the whoever.
Dude,
like,
Alice, you've seen us in Washington D.C. on Radio Row. When these congressmen come into Radio Row, they have the phalanx of gorgeous comms team people, girls with them, all of them, all the time, always looking up to them. And like, not only that, but if you're a politician, you're a guy with a microphone in a suit all the time, with people kissing up to you all the time. Women are drawn to power. And if you're a guy and you see a beautiful woman and you see that look of affection, the green light look, the moment she says hello to you, then that is like all that guys are programmed for biologically. That's everything. Wow, another one. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one.
Right.
So, yes, like when I walk through Newburyport,
I know.
obviously, and these women throw themselves at me. I'm different. I have a governor.
It's hard for you.
I have a
to
gate.
Stop
but yes, I am human. It is hard. We got to go to the Chat Albie, and then
the Patreon show.
Yes.
We can get to some actual politics at some point here. But
I know.
good conversation, though. I'm so happy I remembered that Chapel Rowan thing.
I believe you were prompted to remember by somebody you were yelling at.
By my husband's thirst for fame himself. It reminded me.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
What?
Got a lot happening here on the Chat.
Okay.
Hey, Alice and Tom, this is Dana from Maine. I'm on
Dana.
the road, driving around Maine, back from Barcelona and Berlin. And actually, when I was listening to the podcast out there, they do convert your advertisements to, well, in Spain, it was in Spanish.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Which I thought was pretty funny.
That's cool.
Anyways, I'm back now, and I was listening to your discussion around the longshoreman strike.
Yes.
And I am hoping this happens because whenever I come home, inevitably, I have an Amazon truck or a FedEx truck or a UPS truck dropping off boxes of crap at my house. And I was asking my wife, what did you get? Like, what do we? Oh, just like regular, just stuff that we need, household stuff, so I don't have to go shopping. So then she goes to open them up, and I'm like, okay, so we have candles. Oh, that's good. How many candles? 3 dozen. Oh,
hang on, Dana.
What the hell are we going to do? I don't even know how many candles we have. I actually need a longshoreman to come and take the ship back to wherever it came from. So, anyways, hope you guys have a great weekend. I am so glad to be back in the United States of America. It's the best country. I hate traveling in Europe. I didn't get any diseases from Europe, which is great because every time I go there, I come back, I have something disgusting. Nothing STD related. But, anyways, have a great one. And bye.
The nothing STD related does not absolve his behavior necessarily, Alice. It just means that he
didn't get any STD.
Yes, didn't get any STDs.
Gotcha.
By the way, Dana, I realize Alice subscribes to 150,000 things on Amazon. We have protein shakes and all sorts of flavor things coming in constantly. I don't know.
We just ordered more stuff.
Apparently, we have a whole nother bank account that I'm not aware of.
It's not true.
I wish that Donna was my union rep when I worked for a union in the late 90s.
Yeah.
We would have had such a better contract because the person we had would roll over at the drop of a hat. And I know Donna would never put up with that.
No, Donna fights.
Thank you, Donna.
You're here.
And best of luck to you and your longshoremen's union.
Donna, anything to say?
We'll have to check in with her.
Oh, come on. People want Donna. They want to hear a little impromptu Donna.
I don't know, Donna.
How about you're not too good for it?
You're not too good for it.
Oh, I love it.
I think it was absolutely hilarious that Peter Rabbit yanked the audio board off and ended the audio portion of the live stream on Rumble. He is a good boy and a menace.
He is.
Also, I heard about a poll from Rasmussen that has Trump up by 8 points. Now, it's hard to believe any polling because these are the same people who said Hillary had a 98% chance of beating Trump. And who can believe anything the mainstream media says anyway? So I think things are moving towards him more. The more she has to go out and do interviews, I think the more he is going to gain votes. That's how I see it.
Well, I hope you're right, but a lot can happen in 2 days, Dr. Cheswick, since you left that message. Kamala's had 2 good polls, at least 2 good polls.
There's been a bunch of good polls. I mean, good is relative. I think we're still right around 50-50 in probabilities, right?
Yes, that's fair to say.
It really could go either way, and it's a very close race, and it has not moved a lot since, you can say it's her debate or her whatever interviews, but really, it's just since she got in and their enthusiasm bumped, the race has not moved a lot since she got in either direction. I think it's been really almost as stable as a race can be.
The numbers have receded back to Biden numbers, kind of, at some point.
Right, although still, by the way, worse than Biden was polling in 2020. Right? We forget because Biden won in 2020.
Right.
And so the pollsters were quote-unquote right, in 2020. But they showed him way more up and gave him a much higher chance of winning in 2020 at this point than Kamala Harris is at now. She is polling worse now than Biden did in 2020. So have the pollsters adjusted some stuff now to account for some of these things that they missed in 2020 where they were kind of far off? Maybe. But if the polls are as off this year as they were in 2020, Trump will win. I mean, that's just the truth.
That said,
but the polls might not be off by that much this time. They were not that off in 2022. So I don't know.
We'll talk about this in the Patreon more. But
yes,
the fact that which candidate represents change more is Kamala. Oof. that's a rough one because that's a but. I mean, she's literally not changed. That means that people are believing that ducks are toads and toads are ducks. So, yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to more of this and the Kamala Oprah stuff. I think we should talk about some of those clips.
Well, this may be for the All You Can Eat podcast. Let's just see.
Hey, Tom and Alice. It's Allison from Ohio.
Hey, Allison.
I was just calling to say hi and give Tom a hard time because apparently my music is too girly for talk radio. I'm so sad. I'm going to start smoking a pack of cigarettes a day so I can sound more bluesy.
Oh, my goodness.
And manly for talk radio. Anyway, no,
I will. You know what? I will make that up to Allison tomorrow. By the way, out to Allison Bishop, who sings the nostalgia song at the end of the All You Can Eat podcast. Mm-hmm. Who's, by the way, get great taste in food as well.
But it's fine. I get it. But I just also wanted.
That is the girlfriend's way of saying that's fine. I get it. Where it's really not fine. Guys, you learn this.
Anyway, no, I get it. It's fine. I get it.
Yes, I'm sure.
But I just also wanted to call to say I think it's hilarious. I don't know if you guys know who is on your advertisements, but right now it's been about Range Rovers.
Oh.
And every time it comes on, I just laugh because I know how much Tom loves those white wine Range Rover moms.
I know.
So I'm hoping that soon there will also be an advertisement for white wine.
Well,
anyway, keep up the good work. I'm out. Bye.
Thanks, Allison. Great message, by the way, Allison.
That is a great message.
Listening to you, but very thoughtful and insightful.
That is a great message, and I just want to say and put it out there that if Range Rover wants us to also make personal endorsements, we are available for that also.
We are both
if they see a lot of success from advertising on the Burn Barrel,
speaking of the two Corys.
We are open, and we are willing to very strongly endorse Range Rover.
I will get top surgery if it can I get that? Do they have it the other way? Or I'll get bottom.
It's just a boob job.
If I get if we get paid for it, yes, I'm willing to do absolutely anything. And remember that, please, Xi Jinping. Yes, Alice.
I'll stick with Range Rover.
I'm glad. Are we? Maybe we're beautiful people now.
Maybe we're rich and we just don't know it.
Maybe that's you know what we have, Alice.
What do we have?
We have unrealized capital gains.
Know.
Oh,
it's like when Trump counts like the value of his name into his net worth.
Yes.
Right? Like maybe we're billionaires if we just count the IP of the Burn Barrel as having like $1 billion in value.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
How long would it take us to burn through that billion, you think? Unfortunately, I think within a decade.
I don't think within a decade. Well, you would die within like a year, and then I would just manage it like a normal person.
Yes, that's true. Okay, Allison.
You'd be like coked out or whatever. Oh yeah, your bets.
Checking on my bets.
If you started gambling it, you could burn.
Damn! Settled bets. Is there a chance I won? Oh no, there's $65 in the account still. Okay. Total wager $40, return 0. Total wager $10, return 0. Total wager of $10, return.
Have you won any bets in your 2 weeks of gambling addiction?
I'm
so
0
far?
for 6. Okay. That was $100 I put in there 2 years ago, and it is down to $65. Now, somehow it's still $65. It's not going well.
Andy in Cambridge, 5 minutes east of the Phoenix Landing, and I take my whole "Where's Donna" rant back because she's here, and I love it.
Oh, so I must have played these in the wrong order, as I always do. Okay. Here's the first one.
All right, I think we're going. Hey, guys. Andy in East Cambridge, no longer in East Cambridge, in Cambridge, 5 minutes east of the Phoenix Landing. I want to know why we're talking about longshoremen unions and Donna is not chipping in. Come on. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Unions? Longshoremen? Where's Donna?
See, spoke too soon.
Cheers.
You're right. Thanks, Andy. You're totally right about that. Well, we tried to have a Donna recording session, and chaos ensued.
Yeah, the previous day, the day before. And then,
Yeah, Alice unceremoniously ripped up my copy, as a matter of fact.
Well, because my copy was better, wasn't it?
As it turns out, in the end of the day, maybe it was better. I'll give you that, Alice.
Hi, Tom and Alice.
Hey, Tommy.
Tom, I need your full attention.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm sure I'm not the only one with this question.
Yes.
And I need an honest answer.
Yes.
Has Donna made an appearance in the bedroom yet to berate your performance?
Oh.
If not, when will she do so?
Tommy, I don't know how I should answer that, but it is absolutely a real thing. And
maybe Donna should get an OnlyFans.
Oh my goodness!
She could just produce voice content by request for people.
Yeah, believe me, there are a couple things. That those discussions are happening. Is it fair to say, Alice?
Donna has been requested in the bedroom. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Her presence has been.
Yes.
Requested. Yes, that's true.
So I'll let you know on the down low, Tommy, how that goes.
The media is so pathetic. Kamala has mentioned a few times that she owns a gun, yet there's no follow-up questions as to what type of gun it is. Is it a handgun? Mm-hmm. Is it a semi-automatic? A cap gun? A water gun? I mean, we have no idea what type of gun this is.
They're just too horrified by the concept. We don't know why she feels like she needs
a gun, especially because she has security all the time. And the other question that is never asked is, Kamala talks about a gun buyback program. Would she be the first one to sell her gun in that case?
What a question.
I mean, she's talking about owning a gun, and yet we don't have any more information other than that. And, you know, she could say that she will shoot somebody if they enter her house, and Oprah and the rest of the fools just laugh. I mean, imagine if Trump said that. Just the media is so pathetic.
Well, it's such a great question and great follow-up, Steve. But also, you know, because she was trying to impress the crowd and Oprah, whatever, and, you know, you're breaking into my house, you're getting shot. Isn't that like for a prosecutor and a former attorney general and possibly the chief law enforcement officer of the country again? Isn't that a rather indelicate phrase?
Yeah. And it's, once again, by the way, like Kamala endorsing policies that are not her own.
No.
It's like Kamala when the looting starts, the shooting starts, Harris.
Right.
Which they all were mad at him about. But yeah, we'll talk more about Kamala and her stuff in the Oprah interview and some of these other things on the other side in the Patreon.
Hey guys, how you doing? I wasn't sure if you listened to JD Vance on with Tucker, but he was really spot on when it comes to polling in that as voters, we shouldn't even pay attention to the numbers because all of the voting polls are skewed. We don't have any access to polling numbers. Like, we don't know what people do behind the scenes. We don't know exactly who they talk to. So I think we talked about it before. If it's a Republican-backed poll, they're just going to talk to Republicans and not Democrats, and vice versa. So what J.D. Vance said was, don't listen to the polls. Don't pay attention to the numbers, because if you do, you may just stay home because you're like, well, what's the point of my voting if I know that my candidate's already going to win or already going to lose the state? So people should just show up regardless and, you know, tune out the noise when it comes to polling. And, you know, again, this is just showing me how great of a politician, how great of a leader J.D. Vance is.
Yeah,
because a lot of politicians, especially Trump sometimes, buy into the polling. And at the end of the day, it's just really kind of bullshit. So, you know, hopefully people just show up and vote for Trump on election day so that he can be nominated president. Thank you.
Yeah, I was listening to another group of Never Trump Republicans on podcast today, just bitching and moaning about Vance. And I don't know what the hate thing is about him. I don't know. I feel that there's a lot of like jealousy and resentment based. I think that a lot of Republican analysts, pundits, who are also authors, have some kind of jealousy about this guy, and he just gets to them. I don't know why.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. As we mentioned, we're going to talk more about all this on the Patreon side. So if you are listening on Patreon, just stay there. We're going to move over and talk a little more about Kamala and JD Vance and the Sunday shows that we didn't get to and some of these things. That's at patreon.com/burnbarrel if you want to join that. Otherwise, you can find links to places to listen at burnbarrelpodcast.com.
C'est la vie.